Today on CCX News, session Staredown. The 2025 legislative session begins on January 14th, but there's a strong possibility that DFL lawmakers in the House won't be there. Thanks for joining us. The no-show scenario was proposed by House DFL leader Melissa Hortman of Brooklyn Park earlier this week. The move would deprive Republicans of a quorum needed to pass bills, but at least one local lawmaker was cautiously optimistic that leaders from both parties will be able to resolve their differences.
My expectation is I'll be coming into session next week. We do have this out there as a possibility in the event the GOP continues to refuse to negotiate, but my hope and expectation is that we'll be there next week.
Republicans currently have a 67-66 lead in the House, but that's expected to change when a special election in the Roseville area takes place on January 28th, a seat likely to go DFL. Until that happens, Freiberg says the Republicans should not be able to set terms for the whole session during the two-week window when they have a one-seat majority. Political expert David Schultz says both parties are playing a game of winner-take-all politics.
And that's really not a viable strategy at this point, because by the time the session ends, unless something completely surprises us, it's going to be 67-67. By the time the session ends, they're going to have to pass a budget. They're going to have 68 votes to pass legislation. At some point, the two parties have to figure out how to work together with one another. And all of this is suggesting that right now, the two parties cannot work together with one another.
Representative Freiberg says a power-sharing agreement could take the form of having co-committee chairs and co-speakers for the upcoming session. The cities of Crystal and Robbinsdale started their first council meetings of the new year with the swearing-in of new mayors.
And will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor to the best of my judgment and ability. Thank you very much.
Julie Deschler was sworn in as new mayor of Crystal. Deschler previously served 10 years as a Crystal City Council member. 3 returning members of the City Council were also sworn in. Meanwhile, the city of Robbinsdale also swore in a new mayor. Brad Sutton took the oath of office, replacing longtime mayor and council member Bill Blonigan, who stepped away from elected office after serving the city for 44 years. Another new council member, Raymond Blackledge, was also sworn in, along with Jason Greenberg, who was elected last fall to his first full 4-year term. Meanwhile, the city of Crystal learned the city's longtime police chief will retire this summer. Stephanie Revering became the city's police chief in 2012 and has served the city for more than 27 years. Her last day will be June 27th.
It's been a tremendous honor for me. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm still here and I still have a little over 5.5 months left, whether you like it or not.
The city does have a succession plan. The Crystal City Manager says Deputy Chief Brian Hubbard will be appointed chief, while Crystal Police Lieutenant Pete Underthun will be appointed Deputy Chief. Edinburgh USA Golf Course in Brooklyn Park is preparing to open a new restaurant at its clubhouse this spring. The new restaurant will be called Tavern at Edinburgh. It replaces the Brooklyn, owned by D'Amico Catering. The new operator is Jason Tillett, who runs a restaurant at Green Haven Golf Course in Anoka. Recreation and Parks Director Brad Tolberg said they plan to have a variety of food and specialty nights with unique food options.
All in all, it's going to be great for our community. We believe it'll provide broader community access to the event spaces and to Edinburgh in general.
Another change is happening within the clubhouse. The city hired an Edinburgh clubhouse supervisor and will now manage room rentals and coordination. So going forward, renters can pick any caterer for their events. Tolberg said they hope to open the restaurant by March 1st. If your haircut needs include a line-up or a flat top fade, you've probably visited a barbershop. A new children's book written by a Plymouth author highlights the role of barbershops in the Black community. Kevin Miller has more.
You're getting your usual, though.
Yeah, the usual, yeah.
It's 9 a.m. in Brooklyn Park.
The Saturday morning is just like a buzzing time in a barbershop.
And it's as good a time as any for Keenan Jones to get a trim. He's at the Chisler Barbershop.
I'm hearing that it's not looking good for the Vikings.
Well,
and today's main topic of discussion...
You must be talking to Packer fans.
...is sports.
They still think they're getting ready to go to the Super Bowl.
He's been sitting under the razor here for 20 years.
That's how delusional they are.
For this former athlete, who's also a teacher and a writer, it's an inspiring place to be.
I sat in this chair And then the idea came.
And that idea required a hardcover and a publisher.
This is my debut book, Saturday Morning at the Shop. You know, it's been, one of those things that it's been a long time coming.
He wanted to fill a gap in larger discussions about boys, black culture, and hair.
You got all these books that are coming out about, young black girls and their hair, which is great, right? As a father of young black girls, I appreciate that. But it's like we're absent from this conversation, right?
The book explores the shop as a place of teaching and learning.
Lifting people up, spreading wisdom, and keeping people informed about what's going on in the community, which the shop is a great space for that.
And those lessons are everywhere.
This is another one, right? Like pictures on the wall, black leaders, people that I learned about in elementary school and high school and throughout life. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, Muhammad Ali. They're excited that they're playing the Vikings.
But most of all, the book is a loving celebration of an artful haircut.
I wouldn't worry at all.
And joyful connection in the black community.
There's power in the village and there's power in the community. And I really want to hit that home in this book.
In Brooklyn Park, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
Saturday Morning at the Shop came out this week and is available at bookstores nationwide.
Maple Grove and Centennial have long been two of the best girls basketball teams in the Northwest Suburban Conference. It's Maple Grove's last season in the league before joining the Lake Conference. The Crimson and Cougars tangled Tuesday. Maple Grove hosting Centennial in girls basketball, both teams unbeaten in Northwest Suburban Conference games coming in. Bella Hanna with the shot fake, and she hits the baseline runner for an 8-0 Crimson lead, 13 for Hanna in the game. Kate Holmquist drives it hard from the top of the key for the left-handed layup on her way to a 19-point night for the Crimson. Jordan Odie with a spin move bumps off the defender to bury the jumper as the Crimson dominate to lead 17-5. Then Bella Hanna with the dribble handoff to Odie for 3 of her 22 points, and Maple Grove is in command. Their defense pays off here. Holmquist with the steal over to Sophie Anderson for the layup. Maple Grove leads 48-17 at halftime, and they crush Centennial 86-40. The Wayzata girls basketball team is having another very strong season. Chaz Moots has more on the Trojans.
Wayzata girls basketball has been close. For 6 straight years, the Trojans have come up 1 game short of a trip to the state tournament, falling to Hopkins in all 6 of those 6 4A section finals. This year, Wayzata is 8-3, with all 3 losses coming by single digits.
I mean, even regarding the losses, I think we still feel really good. I think a lot of things are coming together more than they were at the beginning of the season, and we took those 2 losses early, and honestly, I think it helped us.
North Dakota State University commit Sophie Hawkinson is leading the way for Wayzata, averaging 18.5 points per game. But 4 other Trojans, Katie Kelsenberg, Allie Burns, Annika Kieser, and Marin Day, are averaging 8 or more points per game.
You're playing a lot of kids, you should be able to push the pace a little bit. And I think now in the second half, we're just looking for a little more chemistry, cohesion, spacing, timing.
One of our big strengths is transition. We can really push the ball and put the ball in full court and get everyone involved. And then I think another one of our strengths is sharing the ball as a team.
Wayzata's 71 points per game ranks as one of the best in 4A, but the Trojans' defense and physicality is just as much, if not more, of a focus right now.
We've got kids that are strong. We've got kids with some size.
We talk about every day is our defense. That's our number 1 priority every single day, in and out.
Come March, the goal, of course, is to get back to state for the first time since 2010.
I mean, I've lost the past 3 years, so it's definitely been a goal of mine since I entered high school. And I mean, with this group, I definitely believe we can do it.
But the emphasis right now is to play good ball in January.
We have to continue to focus on the process daily and just keep the standards high. The little things matter.
In Plymouth, Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
The Trojans beat Minnetonka Tuesday to improve to 9-3. It hasn't been a great season so far for the Park Center or Armstrong boys basketball teams. They went head-to-head Tuesday with each trying to build momentum. Park Center on the road to face Armstrong in Northwest Suburban boys basketball. Park Center grabs the early lead. 3 straight hoops for Abu Keita to start on his way to a good night. Armstrong surges behind the shooting of Matthew Phillips. He hits 3 threes in the first half and has 16 total for the night as Armstrong grabs the lead. Desmond Ware gets the open court steal and layup for Armstrong on his way to a 29-point outing for the Falcons. But Park Center closes the half strong. They get the steal and throw ahead to Nigel Caldwell for the layup and foul. Park Center is up 38-26 at the half. Second half, and Ware goes off. 22 of his points come in the second half, but Armstrong struggles to stay in it. Keita with a great deceptive move on the drive here on his way to a 26-point game to lead the Pirates. Joe Jacobs buries a long 3 as Park Center wins its 4th game, beating Armstrong 80-55. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.